shall now move on to the call attention motion by Honorable Minister for Science and Technology, Dr. Christophe Dumas.
Namaste. My pranam to His Holiness Swamiji. Honorable Speaker, Minister, Member of Parliament. The pandemic has started 2 years ago, and so far the waves are succeeding from one to another. The number of infected people is dramatically rising. Nowadays, 2017 millions of people have been infected and 5.3 million people lost their life. The COVID situation is uncontrolled, even in the country with the highest rate of vaccination. And all the governments are going back and forth with restriction, following the rhythm of pandemic. Now the virus is endemic, and the only solution proposed by a scientist is to get vaccinated every 5 months. More frequently, maybe, if the new variants arise. And is it a sustainable solution for the future? We can clearly see the limitation of the current science, because the science is searching only on the molecular level, while the problem is on the subatomic level. In 2010, His Holiness Swami Isha has started the Global Energy Parliament in order to solve coming global crisis. He also set up the GEP Research Centre in order to find solutions based on the scientific approach of the balance between positive and negative energy. Swamiji developed the I theory, which is a unifying theory based on the science of energy. The GEP Research Centre has conducted some study applying the I theory for a better understanding of the virus and the pandemic. So I request this honorable speaker to show some figures and share my screen in order to give a better awareness about the virus structures.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so I will share my screen.
Please.
We should be very clear that the virus is not a natural virus, and actually it is a modified virus. So the natural virus on the phosphate group has one electrical charge. Normally there is the base, and after the ribose, which is the glucose, and the phosphate group. And on this phosphate group, there is an electrical charge, negative charge. When someone is editing the virus with DNA modification, he can modify the phosphate group in order to have one proton here. And it is in order to have a more efficiency in genetic modification. But the RNA can be always stable, because if we had some modification here, there can be some secondary and third structure which can stable on the molecular level. This modification, genetic modification, mainly occurs on the spike proteins. Here we can see the insert sites with positive charge. How the virus is binding onto the cell? Actually, there is a binding from this part of the virus, the RBD terminal, and is join the cell on the receptor. But there is also another part called the NTD, the N terminal. And on the cell, there is some lipid raft which are electrically charged negatively. So actually, the spike has some parts which are positively charged, which is in blue, and negatively charged in red. So this affinity is going on the cell, but the NTD make some electrical force, electrostatic force, and catch the cells by the lipid raft. And we can see that the lipid raft is negatively charged and the virus is positively charged. And then there is some attraction force. And we can see that the electrical charge is changing through the variants. And with the delta variants, there is much more positive charge. And therefore, it is much more contagious. So I will come back to my speech. And so applying the I theory, the positive electrical charge are given by black matter domination. And black matter is also an excess of attraction force. With this knowledge, we can understand why the virus is highly infective. In April 2020, we published an article with Swamiji in the Journal of High Energy Gravitation in Cosmology about the entropy and negentropy. In this article, we show that the I theory application leads to define the Earth as a balance between entropy and negentropy. In other words, a balance between black and white matter, or positive and negative charge. Another article we published in February 2021 in the journal Advance in Microbiology shows clearly that this balance is not respected because the virus is a GMO virus, black matter oriented. This excess of positive charge allows the spike protein to bind and open easily the membrane cells. The Delta variant spread faster because the mutation has increased its positive charge. Once entered into the virus, it produced subatomic unbalanced protein, and it replicates itself very fast. The replication is a very big problem because it increased the spread of the positive charge everywhere in the body, affecting various organs. We can also understand how much it is dangerous. Don't forget that the black matter is the energy of destruction. On the energy level, this vibration propagates everywhere inside and outside the body. With the COVID, we can see tension and conflict rising everywhere. As Swamiji said in 2010, the excessive flow of negative energy that leads to devastation and destruction has to be curbed in order to assure a peaceful existence on our planet, on the Earth. So, what is our solutions? With Swamiji's guidance, we can propose short-term solution and long-term solution. For short-term solution, we want to apply the I theory on 3 levels. First, developing effective protection for avoiding new infection. Second, developing an effective new medicine for people already infected. And third, applying a specific therapy for people having a very strong long-term effects. For the long-term solution, we want to develop a new quantic medicine based on the science of prana, the life energy. As explained by His Holiness during the inaugural function, the subatomic plane is made of quanta. Balancing the quanta will lead to balance the 5 elements, and therefore the subatomic plane and all other gross plane. This new branch of medicine will lead to able a cure for any kind of disease without side effects. I will conclude by notice that the second GEP in 2011 already recommended to develop this quantic medicine. If governments had followed our recommendations, we would have avoided such a dramatical crisis. I hope that the government will hear about the following GEP in order to avoid next global crisis. Thank you.